And topic for this webinar is quality leadership for future business organizations. And the speaker for today's program is Mr. Shashikant Singh. He is Technical Officer B, Assistant Director of Directorate of Futuristic Technology Management, Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, New Delhi. We all know that DRDO is the research and development wing of Ministry of Defense, Government of India, with a vision to empower India with cutting-edge defense technologies and a mission to achieve self-reliance. This DRDO is a network of more than 50 laboratories, and it is an institution of national importance. We know this organization very well. It's very much known to us. Mr. Shashikant Singh, as I told, he is Technical Officer B and Assistant Director of Directorate of Futuristic Technology Management. He is having an experience of more than 20 years in the field. He is a MSc in Psychology. He is a recipient of DRDO Best Performance Award for the year 2017 and 2009. He got DRDO Cash Award in 2005, 2008 and 2012. He is a recipient of Professor Deepak Bhatt Memorial Award for Best Paper of the Session in 2015. He is having patents of 2 patents and 6 copyrights. He has made many publications. He is having some presentations in seminars, and he has presented many technical reports as well. Today he is going to address us on the topic quality leadership for future business organizations. But before starting his talk, I would like to introduce the way we are going to conduct this program. After this introduction session, Mr. Shashikant Singh will be giving his presentation, and after his presentation, the person sitting with me, Professor NVR Jyoti Kumar, he is Head Department of Commerce, Mizoram University. He will be taking up question answer sessions. So I request all the participants to kindly send whatever questions or queries they are having. Please type in a Q&A box down. During the presentation, Mr. Shashikant Singh, if he can get access to those questions, he may answer in the way, or otherwise at the end, we will be taking up important questions out of that. So dear participants, please put up your questions in Q&A. Before proceeding further, we are happy to inform all the participants that the Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor KRS Sambasiva Rao, is also in the panel, and he will be interacting in between whenever he feels like. So with this, I would request Mr. Shashikant Singh to start his presentation. Sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And good afternoon, all. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this webinar on quality leadership for future business organization. I feel privileged to have of opportunity to share my learning and experience to all of you, and I wish to convey my sincere thanks to Professor Sambasiva, Vice Chancellor, Mizoram University, Professor and Jyoti Kumar. Both are from Department of Commerce, Mizoram University. They are in topic what I am going to discuss for next an hour or two is very common to all of us because this the topic.
Yes. Now yes. Now audible, sir.
Yeah, sir. Now I am going to discuss on topic is very familiar to us, and not only familiar, all are influenced up to a large extent in all our every aspect of our life, whether it is personal or socio-economical activity, and one that we all practice in day 1 or 2 in our day-to-day life. This is so important topic on which I am going to discuss. Especially leadership is one of the world's oldest and widely discussed topic. and its existence date back to the human civilization. And I can say that most of the human civilization, not most, even all the human civilizations are influenced by leadership. And in this discussion, we will be focusing more on the functional aspect of leadership rather than focusing on the theoretical aspect, which is more uh, practicing in teaching and learning this leadership. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are
Yeah.
audible. Sir. You are audible.
Okay, sir. So this is the topic which is very influential to all of us, and its importance further grows up because the situation in which we are going through, especially this COVID pandemic, this have posed on many of the opportunity and challenges, and this is the outcome of that. Today we are here sitting to discuss on the topic, or we are sharing our experience with all of you. This is the opportunity given by this pandemic, although it have worstly affected our day-to-day life. But I am sure this have brought a number of opportunity to all of us. And this the objective of this session is also that how we can utilize our learning and experience to convert these challenges into opportunity, because the scenario whatever I am we are facing, especially this post COVID, as our topic is on business organization, so we can certainly correlate this, how this is going to strengthen our capabilities in converting these challenges into opportunity. Because this scenario, in this scenario, when most of the global community is more dependent on this Chinese market for many product and services, and more than I think 1/4 only the component is procured from outside China, and around 3/4 of the total resources in terms of manufacturing good and very manufacturing components are supplied by this Chinese entrepreneurs. However, to this pandemic, we have saw that many of the companies are now willing to come outside from China, and not only that, the trust on Chinese companies are super low. Although many of the times Chinese manufacturers are this million and million, only few of the organizations able to sustain.
Sir, you are not audible.
Hello.
It seems your audio is disconnected.
Oh, sorry. This is the network problem. Yeah.
Okay, now your audio is connecting again, sir. Okay, please continue.
Okay. So, for the challenges posed by this post-COVID scenario, we are going to whatever through the leadership, we are going to see up to what extent we will be able to convert these challenges into opportunity, which will be employment and sustainability. So the very basic question, when we see around us, a very basic question come in our mind about the business organization. You see in the surrounding, main organization is and close also. Only few of them is able to continue their business over a long period of time. The best example I could give, Ambassador Motor, that was Ambassador held by Hindustan State, which started their business around 1955. And a time was there for getting the product Ambassador car, people used to wait for 5 years. So such a huge queue was there, and they were even called as kings of road. However, we could have seen that after a few years, they could not be able to sustain, and they in year 2014 they were at the verge of insolvency. Similarly, we could have seen about this Reliance Industry, which started its operation. This started its operation in year 1960, and later in 1965, when these partners bifurcated, Mr. Bhai Ambani and his partner, then they decided to break their partnership. Then he started with Reliance Textile Limited in Mumbai in 1965. Later on, we could have seen that they have grown like anything and recorded their presence throughout the globe. Today, am I audible, sir? Hello? Am I audible? Okay. So that is the reason. After I think 1965, within around 40 years, Reliance Industry have been able to record their presence globally. And today, we could have seen that the organization led by Mukesh Ambani, Reliance Industry Group, it is now one of the world's premier organization, and its net worth is around 15 lakh crore, and he's sixth richest person. Just last week it was reported that he is sixth richest person of the world. However, if we see back when Reliance Industry was divided in two parts, headed by Anil Ambani, and another was held by Mr. Mukesh Ambani, and they have shared their resources and all the infrastructure equally up. But we could see that despite all that resources and same manpower, they could not, this one group led by Anil Ambani could not be able to grow as compared to the growth of Reliance Industry, which was led by Mukesh Ambani. And if we could see in that, we could see that the only difference in that both the company was that it was change in its leadership, nothing else. Everything, all setups, management, infrastructure was remain unchanged, same manpower they were continuing. But we could see that they were able to not able to come up with or expectation their stakeholder, and this was the reason that. So the I'm talking about that is quality leadership for future business organization. And before starting this topic further, I would like to share the quote of General Gordon Sullivan, who was basically a military journal, and he wrote a paper in 1996 by topic of hope is not a method, where he wrote that if you are a leader, your people expect you to create their future. They look into eyes and they expect to see a strength and vision. To be successful, you must inspire and motivate those who are following you. When they look into your eyes, they must see that you are with them. So this speaks a volume about the leader, what leadership means, what people expect of their leader, and what is their role in the view of their follower. And ultimately, everything in organizations roam behind the leadership. So the question comes, what is actual, what do we mean by leadership? So when we say leadership, means leadership is, we can define it as a process that searches out the ways to help and motivate its follower by satisfying high order needs and objectively engaging them in process of work. So when we say leadership means it's the process of influencing the people to get the work done by satisfying their followers, their high order of need, and they are able to engage them successfully. But still a question comes. We are talking of quality leadership. Since already leadership is existing, everybody will ask why quality leadership? What is difference between leadership and quality leadership? So I would like to say, clear that quality leadership have two distinct concepts and construct, and both are dependent and interdependent on each other. Reason is that when we talk of quality, we found that nothing has gone wrong with the any concept or construct, but quality remains same. However, the penalty of whatever we say is wrong goes with its implementation, and much of the problem whatever we see is a stem from the leadership which is failed to recognize the failed to recognize the link between quality and leadership. Until unless one is not able to connect the quality and leadership together, one will be not able to find its correct meaning. So we can say that quality leadership is the consistent process of influencing the person, people, organizations, society, and nations to join hand in an endeavor of their interest and deliver the outcome meeting, matching, and exceeding the expectations of all its stakeholders. When we talk quality leadership in business organization, we mean it as a process of influencing its stakeholder, which includes the employer or investors, its subordinates, or we may say employee, our regulators, and scientific communities in delivering the product or services which meets, match, and exceeds their expectations. And I will explain how it is going to happen, how it is going to take place. So we can say that when we talk of quality leadership, it refers to a group process rather than a individualistic focus. It is a group process, and it is a very consistent process. When we say consistent, means over the period of time and practice, we will be able to produce the same result. That's why I say that it is a consistent process which systematically focus behind its customer and striving hard to enhance the product characteristics and believe in innovation to give value for money by promoting a lasting relationship. So when we see quality leadership means it's a long-term process in which it is largely dependent on people's orientation, and like the traditional business practices where the focus is more on customer, but when we talk of quality leadership, it talks behind customer. So I would like to explain you first of all what is difference between leadership and management. Say by day. So we must be able to differentiate between the leadership and management. So when we talk of leadership, it's believe in or focus more on what we can do rather than how we can do. So the difference is that when we talk of leadership, it's focus on some idea and innovation, whereas when we talk of management, its focus is just to execute a task, or it is more on the present requirements, whereas leadership focus on the futuristic need of its men and environment. Similarly, when we talk of leadership, it's work on system, whereas managers or management like to work in system. When we say work in system, means they believe in following the laid down procedure and systems to accomplish the task, whereas leaders believe in establishing a system to get the work done. Similarly, there is an approach in which leadership believe in proactive approach, whereas management works on reactive approach. When we say proactive, means it is very volunteer participation of the leader in the entire work process, whereas when we say reactive, means manager likes to monitor the activity rather than indulging himself in the process and wait till for his reaction until unless something goes wrong, he avoid to intervene in the process. Similarly, leaders work on designing change, whereas management believe in promoting change. Likewise, leadership believe in inspiring their men to achieve an objective, whereas management use enforcement policy to get the work done. Leadership believe in the philosophy of influencing people rather than dictating them. When we talk of leadership, it's start with why. Means why, if the very basic questions leaders are why you are doing so, or why we are not doing that. It indicates that they empower their followers to get the things done, whereas management focus on the question like asking when you are going to complete the task, or why you are doing like that. So many questions which is more target oriented than empowerment. It's leadership believe in empowering, whereas management goes for delegating the power or responsibility to get the task done. Similarly, leadership believe in the process of risk taking, whereas management avoid taking risk. Leaders excite in their followers to get the work done, wherever management they believe in planning to get the work done. Leadership works as a facilitator and provide all the required support to complete the work done. However, when it comes to management, it enforces the follower to or its employee to get the task done with the given resources. One believe in motivating their people, and they encourage and appreciate their followers' strength and encourage to overcome from their weaknesses, whereas managers try to control their followers and always looking for the weaknesses of their follower and always try to use it to fix him. When we talk of leadership, they believe in disrupting and involve, which reflects that they are involved in the process, and they often ask the questions like why, what. Likewise, they used to do, whereas this management believe in asking the question about the questions what and how, like such kind of questions, which is some kind of instructor type approach is adopted in management. This leadership is believed in best colleague practices, and management believe in instructing their follower. One is based on high emotions, whereas management use interpersonal relations to get the task done. One leadership believe in shaping culture, whereas management believe in making rule to get the task done. One is believing in creating environment for change, whereas managers want to maintain control and order throughout that their activity. So overall, we can say that when we talk of leadership, it takes social and environmental context into consideration while they are at workplace or even behind workplace, whereas management works with the concept of context in organization and business. They are very contextual to their organizational business, whereas when we talk of leadership, they works on this environmental context. They are more focused on that. And now then the next question come in our mind: why quality leadership? Since already leadership is management is being practices, why we talk of quality leadership? The answer for this is that in year 2014-15, there was a article published by Harvard Business School, which reported that lack of leadership is the third global issue behind deepening inequality and income equality and persistent jobless growth, and ahead of such challenges such as the weakening of democracy, rising pollution, and intensifying nationalism. The same, this reports of World Economic Forum, which was published in 2015, that was Outlook Global Agenda 2015, in which they report that about 86% of the population worldwide express their view that there is a leadership crisis in world today. Similarly, a report published by National Labor Index 2005 of USA, which reports that 66% of American express their view that there is a leadership crisis in US. Since 2010, confidence in leadership has been remained at historically low. This was also reported in 2014 by Harvard Business School report. And companies worldwide is spending about $45 billion on developing leadership program. So this shows that what is the importance and the necessity of quality leadership, because this is the report which is like National Labor Index of USA, because if the leadership process and the status of leadership is such in worse condition in US, then we can imagine of ours where most of the things we are following the Western whatever the practices, whatever is happening in Western countries, we are following that. So I will be answering how we are going to attend this quality leadership, because until unless we are not able to define it, what does we mean by quality leadership and how we are going to accomplish it, the very purpose of this discussion would be defeated. So I would like to explain what does we mean by quality leadership and how we are going to practice it. So first of all, before proceeding further, we have to understand the stakeholders whom we are working with. Until unless we are unable to understand who are our stakeholders, we would not be able to perform the best. We will not be able to maintain our quality, and we will be not able to sustain in market. So in order to have a better sustainability, we must have to understand. And so our stakeholders, the very first stakeholder for any business organizations is its employer or investor, means employer, means for whom we are working or we are leading an organization. They are the investor who are spending or investing money on our capabilities to have best return. Second is employee or our subordinates with whom we are working. Third is regulatory authority or law agency. And fourth is science. See, if you want to excel and if you want to sustain your market, you are not only responsible to your customer only, but first of all, before going to a customer, you have to ensure that you must have satisfied your these stakeholders, which is your employer, your subordinate, regulatory authority, and science. Without that, you are not complete, and you will not be able to perform despite of all your strength and resources. It is incomplete. So quality have different perspective from the angle of different persons. When we talk of employer, he have his own perspective of quality or quality leadership. When we talk of your employer, he have his own perspective of quality. When we talk of regulatory authorities, they have their own perception of quality. Similarly, science, which have a broader meaning, and until unless we don't take them on board, we will not be able to perform the best. So without using the proper scientific method and tool, it is somewhat impossible to perform and sustain in current business world. So we have to take all our stakeholders in consideration before going for any business or before starting any process which is directed towards manufacturing of a product or extending our services to our customer. So that we have to ensure that we are must be in a position to satisfy all these requirements to our stakeholders. So then only we can proceed to customer. So when we talk of quality, we say what quality does it means? The first thing is, what does quality means? See, like I can say that we says sometime we went to some restaurant and we ate food. It was very tasty and hygienically served, and whatever the person serving in that restaurant were well groomed and had excellent services. But does we referred it as a quality? After eating, can we say that whatever we have got, it is a quality product and services? Somebody will say yes. I say okay, but what happens when we eat taken food in a restaurant, went to home, the very next morning we find that we had food poisoning. Although we have very tasty foods and excellent services, but when it's later on the customer found that due to this poor quality of food, though it was tasty but quality was not good, he was having a food poisoning next day. So in that case, we cannot say that whatever we have consumed is a quality. So when it goes to consumer, many of the times consumers are more focused about their requirements. Like we suppose we purchase a mobile phone. So when a customer go for purchasing a mobile phone, he have whatever in his perception about If we say some 15 years back, when we used to purchase a basic mobile handphone, when this smartphones was not in market, basic phone used to come, which have a very limited facilities. That time when customer goes to the shop, they says mobile. So when they were to use this mobile for voice calling, at the same time it must be able to have messaging facility. Like with this set, he goes to a shop, but when he goes there, he found that okay, some shopkeeper shows him that okay, mobile phone behind this voice calling and SMS facility, the phone having Bluetooth storage, and I can say that like some FM facilities also there. So when he goes to the shop, his perception about the quality, first it was that my requirement, his first objective was to get his primary requirements get full. But when he purchased this, then he will be very happy. Oh, I got excellent piece of handset, which will be very useful to me. But later he meant that whatever the microwave or radioactive emission that SAR content used to the content, which denotes the microwave radiation level in any handset instrument, is quite high. So later on, after using the handset of 1 year, he found that have a negative impact on health. So that time his perception about the quality will be changed. So when we talk of quality, we are not only focusing on today, but it is a lasting, what we say is a long-term perspective. When we see this, we believe in a long-term relationship. So when we talk of quality, it talks of a enduring customer relationship, like that. When for some purchasing based on its quality, we can have a 4 dimensions. Usually we used to define it in our general discourse, like the quality is low or satisfactory, good, and excellent. This is the basic definition. In late discourse, people used to use this 4 parameter to define the quality of any product or services. Based on that, say that service by X or Y was satisfactory or it was good. This is the basic level of defining level. At the same time, 4 axis of any product of and services, which is first is your product, that is on top of that, product and services for which we are working. Then second aspect is there cost and convenience, because if we are whatever we are developing, it is directly related to its cost and convenience. Until unless the product whatever is manufactured or service whatever is extended to the customer is not cost effective and convenient to use, it have very least possibility to get acceptance of the customer. But at the same time, it must have a value additions besides fulfilling the regulatory norms. And when we say this 4 axis of product, without considering all these characteristics, when we say product or services, means we refer it to fulfilling the basic requirements for which it is meant for. When we talk of cost and convenience, means it is how effective in term of cost and convenience in term of usage, how well one ordinary person is able to use it, and up to the maximum extent, until unless they are not able to utilize all the benefits without much efforts, it will not get popularity, or it will not pick up popularity among the consumers. Similarly, value additions also equally important in that, because this is the thing which attracts your customer. I will explain it now. Besides that, you also required to fulfill, while you are in work or business organization, you must have to satisfy the requirements of your regularity or authority in terms of human rights, compliances of human rights or fundamental rights extended under the constitutions, besides other statutory requirements for production or manufacturing of particular services, like getting environmental clearance and licensing, etc. So it must have to fulfill these requirements also. Otherwise, it is very difficult to sustain your product or business in long-term endeavor. And if you are not complying with this, you will be not able to survive in the market. So now I will come to how different perspective of quality is perspective of or investor. His priority is that you should, as a leader, you must be able to produce a product or services which must be satisfying the need of your customer at very cost effective and convenient way. Besides that, while producing this product or services, your employer or investor is focused only to the extent that whatever minimum requirement of the regulatory authority has been fulfilled. So he wishes that in a minimum resources, there the minimum obligation, whatever legal obligation is there, it just has to be fulfilled, and the product manufactured should be having satisfactory in its characteristics in terms of customer requirement with very cost effective and convenient way. At the same time, they want to add some value addition in that. They will say that, okay, its quality should be this, whatever, like we says, okay, it sound for audio, as I have told in last example, like that. Okay, whatever product you are like a mobile phone, okay, it should be able to manage the voice calls and SMS. However, he will say that, okay, yeah, that is okay, but can we do like that? We can add some other features like Bluetooth or a storage device or dual SIM facility, likewise, or FM facility. So they want to differentiate them on the characteristics which is not having the others, whatever the other competitor is there in market. So they say that we should, why not to have something which is not thought of by the customer. Like when earlier, when we used to use that basic mobile handset, nobody have thought of these applications like WhatsApp or Facebook or browsing in mobile handset. Likewise, nobody have thought. So this was the innovation, or this was the value addition given to the product. So whatever the producer wants, that he should have something different from the regular products, so that it can attract their customer. But when it comes to the employees or subordinates who are involved in the manufacturing of that product or services, he have a different perspective about the quality, where whatever product or services we are going to extend, he defined it as a thing in which the whatever customer requirements in terms of product is at satisfactory level. It should be cost effective and convenient up to good extent that okay, it should have must be beneficial for us. At the same time, it should have whatever number of features we can add. Okay, we will add, there is no problem. And we should must satisfying whatever the requirements of the regulatory is there, it should must be satisfying. So workers do their work at workplace, they also see that whatever the health provisions given, whatever provisions for safeguarding the health and minimum work conditions at workplace are required to be followed is ensured. So he says that if from my side of view, I should must be the environment it must have sign to regulatory authority, and it is beneficial where has the product characteristics is of satisfactory level, and we can give additional value addition to the things so that we can maintain our sustainability in market. Similarly, when it comes to regulation, when they see quality, their prime focus is that whatever you invest or whatever resources you use at an input, whatever the cost of your product or services is, and whether it has some value adding features or not, they say that if you want to perform this, or if you want, you must have an excellent level of the compliance of whatever regulatory requirements with in respect to your business is there, is it must has to be fulfilled, or it is practiced up to the excellent level. Then only I can appreciate that whatever you are doing is excellent. So we can see that different stakeholders, different perception about the quality. So when it comes to science, it have a different perspective of quality. We says that it must have an excellent level of product. So the aspects are there. It should have the what we have thought of. It is completely fulfilling all the requirements of primary use. At the same time, drive use, or it must be very cost effective and convenient to him. When it's cost effective means it should be very cheaper. Quality, term of price, and when we say that it is corresponding to the existing similar products. It's not in isolation. See, when we say price, or service, it is compared a statement in relation to the other plus product or services. If something that one handset is available at 100 rupees, so it doesn't mean that when I am going to extend the product be at 10 rupees. When we say even when offering a product at 100 rupees, means how the customer can feel that it is of worth, and whatever they have paid is cheaper in comparison to the purchasing other product. See, other product is there, in it is cheaper because it has many other missing features others products don't have. So when we talk of this quality, it is meaning in requirement meeting, matching, and exceeding the expectations of all our stakeholders. And when we are able to use, we are able to satisfy all our these four stakeholders, we will be able to produce a product or services which will be having a lasting influence on our customer. So when we say science means we are using science or scientific methods and technologies, etc., to our day-to-day practices to have a better and lasting product. So now questions comes, what are the elements of quality leadership? When we say quality leadership, then it means that it refers to that leadership not in charge of business, he as and team. When we say team member not in charge, it means that the leader is the part of process rather than he or one needs to remain involved in the process of this whatever endeavor or exercise or activities are there of the organization. He will continue and he remain in him knowledge sharing until unless he is not able to work, or if he is not available with his followers, he will be not able to estimate what is the on-site requirement of their follower. And in that scenario, he will not be able to best utilize his knowledge, and he is not able to disseminate the knowledge to all its followers. So when he is in team, he is able to share his knowledge in better way, and he can also, when you are in system, you can keep on mentoring your people of their strength, and you keep on encouraging them, and also you may be having facilitating them throughout the group processes. So when you're working with your team, you will be able to have providing very specific goal to all of them, so that whatever the task is given to the particular follower or colleague is ensured that it is not having any duplicity. At the same time, you will be able to see that whatever knowledge he is having is adequate or not. At the same time, whatever the requirement, knowledge requirement is there, you will be able to transfer, or you can share your knowledge and experience of your to your follower to accomplish that particular task, and you can keep on mentoring them. So it basically facilitates the group process and have a open forum for communication, and we keep on providing information among ourselves. So when we say that one need to have a quality leadership, its elements must have that he must be a team member, then acting as in charge and provide goals to its member, besides sharing knowledge, acting as a mentor, facilitating group process, besides having open communications to provide information. So when we talk these elements, what actually it do? So what quality leadership actually provides? When we talk of quality leadership, it provides purposes to its follower. It gives a proper training to accomplish the particular task allotted to its follower. It also helps in prioritizing the task. And role means who will be going to do what task will be performed by whom, and what will be, suppose it is a team process, who will what role will be led by particular individuals, and what will be the norms or guidelines to facilitate those group processes. At the same time, it also provides a bit conflict to have better performance and facilitate in decision making and overall organizational effectiveness. So quality leadership basically provides a purpose, training, priorities, role, norms, conflict, decision making, and organizational effectiveness for sustainability of any business organizations. And hence we can say that business leaders or quality leader must have following attributes to facilitate the processes, whatever I have discussed in my previous slide, that he must be very professional. And when we say professional, be professional, we means he must be loyal, selfless, honest, committed, and courageous, besides straightforward. So professional means one must be loyal to his organization and his men. He must be a selfless and honest. When we say selfless means his requirements come in last. First is his follower. Requirements is the primary objective for him. Then the requirements of his investors or his organization is second. And third is about himself. His preferences and his requirements comes in last until unless the requirements or whatever expectations of their followers are not fulfilled. He will be least bothered about his own requirements. And he is very honest to his profession and his people, and exhibit a commitment towards work, and be courageous and straightforward. So when we say professional, means one must have these attributes which defines the professionalism. Then second is know the factors of leadership. See, the second attribute, until unless you don't know what are the factors of your leadership, you will be not able to perform the best. You will be not able to provide direction to your team. You will be not able to achieve your vision. So you must be aware of your followers, your leaders, the communication and situations. These are four factors which has to be very kept in mind at all the times when we are working in a business organization. You must be aware of your followers with whom you are working. What are their strengths, capabilities, qualifications, etc. Everything you must be able to be remembering. Then only you will be able to perform the best. And you must have to understand your leader also, what is their expectations and vision about the organizations is that, and must be aligned with those visions of your higher leadership or your investors, whatever it may be. So that is there. Third is communication. So when we say without communication, nothing takes place. You must be able to have a proper communication system between your upward and downward chain. So basically we used to use instead of feedback system, we say feedback and feed forward. Feedback means whenever we get some information, we used to utilize it, and then again we go for further feedback. So whatever corrections or changes we have taken place is adequate or not, and if required, we must be able to correct our in so that in long term it should not be discouraging or disadvantageous. At the same time, we must be aware of the situations, because unless you are not able to estimate the situation or understand the situation which you are working, you will be not able to respond early. So one must be have proper understanding of situations under which various tasks and activities are performed. Then you must, or a leader must know himself, or I must know about myself, which includes a strength, weakness, knowledge, and skills. So when we talk of quality leader, they must be aware of all their strength, weakness, knowledge, and skills, so that
Disconnected. I think.
am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes. Now audible. Yes.
No problem, sir.
Sir, sir, I like continue.
Yeah. Continue.
Please continue, sir.
So anything which take of communication.
Now your slides are
If
not.
somebody can tell me,
Screen sharing is not coming, sir.
okay,
Yeah, starting now.
No,
one second, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. So I was talking about the attributes of quality leadership. Hello.
Yes, it is
Hello.
audible. Okay, so
Okay, I was talking about the attributes of quality leadership. I hope up to what point I have covered, because I was unable to estimate or understand where this voice got disconnected.
your slides are not coming, sir. Screen sharing.
One second, sir. Utkarsh. One second. 1 second. Sir, I was talking about the attributes. Now it is visible.
No, it's not coming still.
1 second. 1 second, sir.
Okay. Take your time, sir. Now it's starting.
Let him go.
Is it
Yes, now-
visible, sir?
Yes, visible.
Yeah, sir. So I was talking about the attributes of quality leadership. And when we talk of quality attributes of quality leadership, so leader must be professional. When we say professional, it means he is loyal, selfless, honest, committed, and courageous, besides a straightforwardness. This is the very basic attribute of quality leadership. Besides that, he must know the factors of leadership, which includes his follower, leader, communication, and situations. He must be able to know himself, which includes his strength, weakness, knowledge, and skills. He must be aware of the human nature. So until unless he is unable to estimate the need of his follower. Hello.
Yes, continue,
sir.
sir. Continue. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay. So he must be able to estimate whatever the need or requirements of his man is there, who is with whom he is working. Until unless he is unable to understand their needs, their emotions, and their stress, no leader will be able to utilize his manpower up to the optimum extent. So one, as a leader, one must be able to estimate or judge the requirements or need, emotions, and stress of his men. Then next comes, he must know his job. So until unless he is not aware of the job, he will not be able to train his men. Suppose if he is leading a team where nobody is aware of the process, so until unless leader is not aware of the job, he will not be able to train his followers properly. So that's why it is said that when we talk of quality leadership, leaders work as a team member rather than working as a manager. So they remain keep themselves in the process of operation or process of manufacturing or services or the activity of organizations to have thorough knowledge of his work. At the same time, he will be able to train his men at the workplace itself or during the vogue of ongoing activity on site. He will be able to train their men. So that is also attribute very important to him. Then another attribute is that he must be knowing his organization. When we say know your organization, it means he must be aware of the organizational culture, climate, what are the culture and climates existing in the organizations. When he is stuck in problem, where he can seek for help, or who are the unofficial boss. Like when in many organizations, some people will be there who acts as unofficial boss, who is having mastery of the subject process, and he have very influence on the manpower. So parallel in many of the organizations, we can see that there is an unofficial leadership also exists. So when you practice a quality leadership, you must be aware of these factors of your organization, about its climate, culture, and where you can get help whenever you are stuck in problem. The next is you must be able to provide direction. And when we say direction, providing direction, we means one must be able to do problem solving or goal setting and decision making, etc. So when they are doing something, or if the follower is stuck in any problem, he must be able to do his problem solving. At the same time, he can do a goal setting. When we say goal setting, means it's a realistic time frame considering the quality characteristics and strength of his man. He can set the optimum goal to be achieved, and he provide a decision making too. So he facilitate in decision making process, and this will lead him to do implementation. And when we say implementation, means he at that time he must be able to communicate, coordinate, supervise, and so implementation, he must be able to have a proper communication, coordinations, supervision, and evaluation of the process or the system, whatever is advancing. And last but not least is do motivate. So as a leader, you must have an attribute that you must be able to train, coach, and counsel your men or followers with whom you are working. So these are the very basic attributes which work on the principle. On the principle of that, which says we can term it as the basics of quality leadership, which says that you must know yourself and seek improvement. Means how we can achieve this, whatever attributes I was discussing of, it has to be how we can achieve this, how we can acquire this attributes in ourselves to have a quality leader. So for that, we have to follow these few principles, or we can say that these basics, until unless we are able to inculcate these characteristics and practices in ourselves, we will not be able to perform as a quality leader. So for that, we must have to know ourselves and seek self improvement. So in process of quality leadership, the leader must be knowing himself, and he must be seeking a continuous self improvement. Then he must be technically proficient. So for getting that, we must be keep updating ourselves with the latest science and technology of and whatever the latest development in the area of our expertise or the area where we are working. Then third thing is that if you want to be a quality leader, you must be able to seek responsibility and take responsibility for your actions. When we talk of leadership, the very basic thing is that leadership starts with seeking responsibility. Until unless we are able to take the responsibility of our actions, whether it is right or wrong, whether it is success or failure, we will not be able to influence our problem. When we are able to take responsibility, when we reflect, or when we are able to convey that I take the responsibility of my actions and my main, your people will be not connected with you. So we must be able to take responsibility. At the same time, we must ensure that whomsoever working in team must take the responsibility of their actions. So that is the very basic requirements. Besides that, one must be able to have a sound and timely decision. This is very crucial, and we must be set an example. Means set an example means whatever is there, when we say some work, it is led by example. Instead of telling someone to do or preaching to others, we believe in practicing. He must believe in practicing those preachments, and whatever we say, it should reflect in our actions rather than word. So their followers must be able to perceive that whatever my leader is telling, he practices the same whatever he is telling us to do. Similarly, you know your people, so you have to keep exploring about your people who is associated with you, and always keep your workers informed. So you have to keep them updating about the every latest update related to their work or their expertise, whatever they are doing. So it is, as a leader, it is your responsibility that you must ensure that your follower is updated of the all recent advancement or technological advancement in the area in which they are working. Besides that, one must have to develop a sense of responsibility to your followers and ensure that whatever task you are assigning to your follower is understood, supervised, and accomplished. So this is very basic criteria to become a good leader or quality leader, is that whenever you are assigning a task, you should ensure that whatever the work has to be done is properly understood by your follower or not. Because there may be a situation where the intellectual level of your follower is not of the same level of yours. So you must be able to communicate whatever the requirements or whatever the task assigned to him is understood in his according to his requirement, and whether both are same. Whatever you are thinking, the same thought or same meaning should be conveyed by your follower also. At the same time, you must have to keep on supervising them and have to ensure that whatever has been assigned to any of your followers is accomplished. So it's not like that you have given a task and forget. So in those circumstances, or without practicing that, you ensure that whatever task has been accomplished is completed, you cannot achieve quality leadership. So you have to ensure that whatever task has been assigned, it must be completed also. And keep on training yourself and your team. So this is the very basic tools or principle which we have to practice to achieve the quality leadership, to have a better product or services, besides a long lasting and sustaining existence in business world. Now, when we ensure that we have been practicing these skills and attributes, when we acquired this, how to achieve that quality leadership. See, suppose before starting some business or procedure or any process of product development, first what we used to do, we used to gain the knowledge, or we do the basic preparation. And now how we can go ahead on the road of quality leadership. Its very beginning is that challenge the process. When you want to prove it as a quality leader, you must be able to challenge the process. So when you work in an organization, you must be able to question about the processes, and you must be able to give them a better or you lead them to develop a process or product which is better than the existing one. That is the very first requirement to influence your people, that you can challenge the process by giving them a better process than the existing one. So it you can very easily you can influence your stakeholders. Then second is that inspire a shared vision. When we say inspired a shared vision, as in the first slide I was talking about General Gordon Sullivan, who told about that leadership. So he used to say that if you are leader, means people expect from you that you are creating their future, and they must see the strength and vision in you. So until unless you are not able to reflect that you have a vision for, or if you have proper planning, career development program for all the your followers, or even I can say that all your stakeholders, that there is something for all the stakeholders. So when the task or process will be completed, everybody will have a fruitful or a gainful outcome, where when the process will advance, or whether it will continue. In those cases, there will be something for everyone, all the stakeholders, whether it is your follower or your investors or the regulatory authority. So you have a vision for them. Everybody is looking that there is something for them in the future, and so you can lead them to the objective for which you are been working for. Besides that, the leader's work is not only to lead others, but the actual role of leaders is to produce more leaders. So basically, rather than controlling them, this is the process of empowering rather than delegation. You must be able to empower your men. When we say empower, means they are given with along with certain responsibility, they are given certain rights also to complete the work. At the same time, as a leader, one has to ensure that whatever instructions has been passed on by the that leader or that follower to the others must be complied of. It's not like that if somebody else say that should be overlooked. It, as a leader, you have to ensure that whatever instructions or whatever decisions taken by your colleagues must be fulfilled or must be completed, and you as a leader, it is ensure that you must strengthen him to accomplishing that task. uh, Fourth is that model the way. So when we talk of quality leadership, that the roadmap is that it is the way we walk the talk. So whatever we do, we practice also. People should must understand that rather than our words, they more understand of our action, and we should be the role model for our uh, other followers or colleagues. Whatever we they feel proud in practicing the actions and behaviors reflected or shown by you. So you should must be a role model for them. So you have to keep on performing the tasks or whatever role is there behind the expectation of your follower. So they will be always looking towards you, that how and what I can learn from you, and practice those in our day-to-day activities to excel the performance at workplace. And fourth is that encouragement by heart. We means that we should must encouraging our followers from the heart. When we say the from the heart means they feel like we are with them. When we see in our eyes, like earlier we used to say that when they look into your eyes, they must see that you are with them. So whatever if something or some fault or something wrong happened at workplace by some of your follower, at that time it should when you are counseling him, that time he should must understand that it's not a consolation, but you are with them and you are sharing all the responsibility along with him. So he will be stay connected with you and with the work processes. So this is the very roadmap. If we follow these four principles, we will be able to continue on the road of our quality leadership, and we will be always be able to get the task or services done in the way it was expected or planned for. So that is the road of quality leadership. And the last is that about the review mechanism. When we are going in a system, so for sustainability, we must have a review mechanism also, which is everywhere. If you want to have a sound system, you must have a review mechanism. Similarly, for a quality leadership practices also, we must have a review mechanism which starts with self-examination. And after self-examination, because we already have discussed much about the self and evaluating self and strengthening self. So besides that, we have to keep on examining ourselves and conduct SWOT analysis, which includes strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat analysis or estimation of these strength, weaknesses of the individual and system. So whatever, because when we are working in a dynamic environment, and every day there is a technical advancement, whatever legal norms are day by day, it is going stringent. Besides that, expectations are of the customers are also growing, and we are working in a global market. So there is lot of competitions from all the sides, whether it is from your competitor who is working in similar field, whether it is the scientific advancement, because if I say, if you ignore any one of them, you will not be able to sustain in your market. So it is necessary that you have to be keep updating on all your stakeholders or the requirements of your whatever we say regulators or uh, competitors are there or even scientific environment. So we must have to keep on aligning ourselves the organizational vision along with the advancement, these technological advancements, so that we will be able to bridge the gap, whatever weaknesses are there or whatever the threats coming from the outside or even from inside, because that can be evaluated and that can be complied of. So when we are doing this analysis, we will be in better position to estimate the future requirements, and we will be able to deal with those challenges, and we can equip ourselves to deal with those challenges in terms of training ourselves or making technical advancements at workplace, use of new technologies, better and more professional and trained manpower. Likewise, we can have a proper planning for all these things, or even for better environmental or mechanical things which have a better impact on the regulators, etc. So we have to keep on doing this short analysis to fulfill those requirements of quality leadership. And then next is that feedback and feed forward. We used to have this because it's not only when we say feedback. Feedback is the process in which we ask advice or suggestions or their opinion about the product or cycle from any of our stakeholder, maybe our consumer or our follower or our employer or regulator, etc. So that is not the end, but instead of feedback system, we says that it's a feedback and feed forward processes. In that, when we are keep on we keep ourselves in dynamic mode and we seek for continual improvement. Wherever we are very open for all the criticism and improvement. So wherever change is required, it can be taken at the right time instead of waiting for the cycle to complete. So that time there, when we wait for a cycle to complete, that in that condition we will not be able to deal with the current scenario, and it may be an expensive process. So we must follow a feedback and feed forward processes where we go for a continual improvement and keep on improving ourselves. So we can, based on this, we can plan or list out the activity or actions to be undertaken, which to capability and weakness on opportunity identified, and we have to apply a SMART technique. When we talk of a SMART techniques, it refers to a specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So why we say like this? SMART techniques means whatever the task has been, activity has been break down into various tasks, so that we will be in a better position to focus on the problem, a specific task, and we can identify a specific problem related to a task. So we can measure the efficacy or effectiveness of our whatever intervention we are making, and at the same time we will be able to easily overcome with those whatever weaknesses has been identified, and it will be more in realistic and time bound nature. So when we go for this SMART techniques, when we specify the task, all this thing, whatever in earlier slide I used to discuss about that, we must have to role norms, etc. has to be finalized. So it facilitate in this leadership processes, and we will be able to maintain our threshold, and we will be sustained in a longer term. We will be in a better position to sustain in this ever changing market, which is highly volatile and technical in nature, which is every time there is some technological advancements are going on. And in those circumstances, it will be very easy for us to maintain our sustainability, and we will be able to achieve whatever the objective we have set for ourselves. And similarly, if we follow these techniques, we will be in a better position to convert these challenges what initially I was telling, that this how we can convert these opportunity into these challenges into opportunity. That can be a alternate option for us. And why I have choose this non-conventional approach, because every time we used to have a theoretical model whatever we are doing, in that it is many of the time it's not imperative, or it is not feasible for everyone to go to study a particular subject before practicing something. So by going through that, my objective is to that by taking the elements of this lecture or my experience, we can have some knowledge about the operational thing, rather than I am not telling that is not necessary, that it goes along with. So we can, by using those theoretical foundations and these practical implications, we will be able to in a better position to utilize our strength in getting the things done better and even better. And in last, I can say that I am sure that we will be able to even whatever we are doing by practicing these things, we will be in even better condition, because everybody is practicing leadership in way 1 or 2. It will strengthen our this knowledge and experience, and we will be in a position to do even better whatever we are doing. And I can conclude that that whatever I was talking, that quality leadership is very essential in present scenario and for future business organizations, as one must have to understand the requirements of its different stakeholders. And unless you are able to maintain their confidence on yourself, you will not be able, or anyone, and you means including, if I am practicing leadership, if I am unable to maintain the confidence of our stakeholders in leadership, we will be not able to sustain and perform for a longer period of time. At the same time, whatever we are talking of, it is more on team approach rather than individualistic. And it believes, whatever quality leadership, it believes in the principle of empowerment. And we have to be people oriented, and more of people oriented concept than focusing much on task. And it will unlock the other leadership quality also, besides integration of various disciplines. And it is based on the whatever quality leadership is there, it is based on a strong integrity and social values. And we will be able to take the outcome from it. If we will be following it, definitely it will give a better outcome in our day-to-day activity and business. And it will certainly be helpful for any business organizations, not now, even in future. It will be a very useful concept. And with that, I conclude my session. And once again, I thank you all for your patient listening, because there was so many times there was break in voice, and it might be, I think it might be there was some pause in between due to the disconnection. And this is my small endeavor, that once again I should thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Hello.
very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. This is Jyoti Kumar.
Sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Initially, there was some technical snag
Yes, sir.
for first 10 minutes, but afterwards it went on very well. And audio,
Thank
audio is very clear, and we are receiving a lot of appreciation from many participants, because quality of session is also very good and quality leadership.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Sir, here are a few questions, around 10
Sir.
questions are there, but I would pick up some important questions. One question is about current COVID-19 situation, and world is looking at India as a leader, and how to produce good entrepreneurs and business leaders in our country, so that India would emerge as a global leader. That is one question, sir.
Sir, shall I answer first, or first let me one by one we will answer, then we will
Yes,
go to next question.
Yes, sir.
Is it correct, sir?
Yes,
Sir,
sir. Yes,
that is a very basic objective of my lecture was there, to discuss on that only, how we can, when we are telling of quality leadership, and it can be proved to be a very beneficial in converting those post-COVID challenges into opportunity for all of us. Because whatever I was discussing in that slide, you could have seen that when we talk of quality leadership and the customer expectations in terms of the product characteristics, cost, convenience, etc. Sir, you will be agree with me that the very basic reason behind the flourish of Chinese product or Chinese market was moving something around this only, the product characteristics, cost, convenience, and value addition. I think everybody will be agree on that. So we have to work on that criteria only, and we have to try to produce our services of whatever product or services. Like I will give you some example also. Whatever product we are manufacturing, if we are able to maintain whatever the criteria, scientific approach we have used, so wherever when we are going to compete them, or when if we are planning to capture their market, take back to India, in that scenario we must have to produce a product which is of high quality of product characteristics in terms of customer requirement. At the same time, it must be very cost effective and convenient. You can see their products also, it is very convenient. So for using those products and services, the user does not require a specialized training. So that is the very basic requirement. Without that, in addition to that, what additional we can provide to our customers, that if we are able to manage these 3 points.
Yes, sir.
And the regulatory norms, which is somewhat ignored in our society, where it is in India or everywhere, they are least bothered for regulatory requirements. But if we are able to manage this, and we are able to
Hello. Yes.
hello.
Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
Yeah, whatever the expectations with respect to the characteristics of product or services we are going to produce, it must be able to fulfill the whatever requirement of the customer is looking for, with a very cost effective and convenient way, besides giving them freebies. like value addition. Suppose I say something like I had given example of mobile phone. So earlier people used to go for purchasing a instrument which have a very basic features, but when people have came with some value addition like the smart handphones with having the facility of web browsing or having various application on the screen likewise. So we have to use innovation along with the product characteristics. We have to use innovation and recent scientific methodology to have a product which is behind the customer expectations. So it's when we say behind customer expectation doesn't mean that you have to do wonders, but it should be something which is behind their expectations. Whatever you are going to deliver, it is something better than what they have hoped for. At the same time, we have to able to ensure that it because in Chinese products, especially because we are talking on post-COVID. So this Chinese, especially on regulatory norms, there were very serious concerns over all the Chinese products. Whatever we are getting, many of them, even they used to provide the PP kit in Germany and Italy, which has very much problem technically when people were bearing those PP kits, etc. That time there was a lot of problem. That was a seconded quality, and even it was unable to serve the basic purpose. And we can see that within 2-3 months, I think we are a global manufacturer of PP kit. We are producing more PP kit than in Chinese market. So likewise, we have been able to excel in those areas, and we to expectations of our customers. Who to wall. And I believe by doing so, we will be able to get all the opportunity, and we will in even better conditions, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, here is one
Is
question.
it clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes. Now it is clear. Yes, sir. Sir, here is one question about importance of human values in developing leadership quality. One question is there, and another question is about whether leaders are created through experience or education. These two questions you please take, sir. Whether leaders are created through experience or education. That is one question.
This is both. Leadership can be not created, but we can be strengthened both by education and experience. Creation is that it can be strengthened.
Both are important. Both are
experience. Both equally important, sir.
And one question. Yes, sir. One question is about importance of women as leaders, whether they are getting enough opportunity in the society to emerge as leaders. That is a gender perspective question.
Sir,
the audio is not clear, sir. Disconnected, I think.
Sorry.
Yes, yeah, please continue, sir. I will repeat the question, sir. This question is about are women born leaders, and without equal opportunities in the society, how it is possible for women to emerge as leaders like that?
And we are more focusing on whatever we says, and I think this question can be scrapped.
Okay. Sir, here is one question, sir, from a woman, Raja Tumati. He is asking one question:
Sir.
how to empower youth societal leaders so that we can build a more resilient society.
Sir, when we say the leadership, the role of leader is not to lead only or to supervise the others, but the actual role of leader is to create more leaders, which can be done through the empowerment only. When we say empowerment, we extend opportunity, resources, and all the required support to ensure that whatever is transferred to the next command must be completed. So we have to facilitate them in fulfilling those goals, and that's why we used to say that one must have to be a facilitator. Leader is more a facilitator than a manager, and then only once you are able to facilitate more and more people, you will be able to create more and more leaders. And when we understand
principle of leadership.
Thank you, sir. Sir, finally, a couple of questions about COVID situation and what are the lessons to be learned? What are the lessons to be learned in view of COVID-19? Lessons for business organizations, what type of lessons they have to learn to face this difficult situation?
Sir, the lesson learned is that at this stage where there is a lot of resource crunch is there, we must be, when we say even the role of leadership is to have an optimum utilization of its resources. So we have to be very judicious while utilizing our resources. At the same time, we must be able to maintain whatever the our quality characteristics are there has to be maintained to sustain in this scenario, because now there is lot of deviations, and if you are not able to sustain with the expectations of your consumer, you will not be able to survive post-COVID, because there is going to be a lot of resource crunches. In those circumstances, we must be able to have a very techno-savvy and cost-effective procedure we have to follow. That is the very basic essence for success.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. And when we come across these two, three words, DRDO, quality leadership, then without much effort, I could remember one great personality, great leader, APJ Abdul Kalam.
Sir.
And this morning when I visited your website, DRDO website, then in the front page itself, home page itself, they mentioned that there is one upcoming webinar, Remembering Dr. Kalam, an Enduring Legacy.
Yes, sir.
And we all know that Kalam used to share his experiences with DRDO and ISRO as a scientist. And we all know that he started his career at DRDO after his graduation, and he used to say, excellence is a continuous process and not an accident. These are the words of Abdul Kalam, sir.
True, sir.
It would be fitting to conclude this session on quality of leadership with his quotation, and whether it is leadership in political, whether it is political leadership or leadership in technology, whatever may be the field, the leader must have vision. Without vision, you cannot be a leader.
True, sir.
Second, the leader must be able to travel into unexplored path.
True, sir.
Third, the leader must know how to manage success and even more importantly, failure.
Sir.
So thank you very much, sir, for your very elaborate and informative presentation. And especially, it would be very useful for the students and research scholars of commerce and management and other disciplines also. And many good comments we received about your session. And thank you very much, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you once again to all of you, sir. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you, sir. And we will continue our relationship, professional relationship, MZU, Mizoram University and DRDO. Already they are partners, and this relationship would continue further.
Sure,
Thank
sir.
you.
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again, sir.